Most people believe their suffering comes from difficult people, competition, or the pressure of modern life. They think stress comes from demanding jobs, toxic relationships, or the endless race to keep up with everyone around them. But if you pause for a moment and look carefully, something deeper begins to appear. Buddhist wisdom has long pointed to a quiet truth most people overlook. The real source of suffering is not the world outside you, but the restless mind that constantly looks outward for approval, comparison, and validation. Today, people measure almost everything. Success is measured through status. Happiness is measured through attention. Even self-worth is quietly measured against the lives of strangers. Social media, expectations, and comparison have turned life into a silent competition, where everyone is watching everyone else. But the strange part is this: the more your happiness depends on what others think, achieve, or approve of, the more unstable your inner world becomes. Your peace begins to rise and fall with opinions, praise, rejection, and endless comparison. But what if true freedom begins the moment you stop looking outward and start returning inward? In Buddhist philosophy, peace does not come from controlling the world. It begins when attention returns to the self. When you stop measuring your life against everyone else's path, something powerful begins to happen. Your mind becomes quieter, your direction becomes clearer, and your energy returns to what truly matters. In this video, we will explore 7 Buddhist lessons that can help you focus on yourself in 2026, protect your energy, and reclaim the inner peace that has been waiting within you all along. Lesson 1. Master your inner world. Most people spend their lives trying to control the world around them. They try to control situations, outcomes, and even the behavior of other people. They believe that if everything goes according to their plans, then they will finally feel peaceful and satisfied. But something strange often happens. Even when things go well, even when success arrives, the mind still feels restless. New worries appear. New fears take their place. This happens because true power does not come from controlling the outside world. True power begins when you learn to guide what is happening inside your own mind. Buddhist wisdom teaches that the mind is the true center of experience. If the mind is calm, even difficult situations feel manageable. But if the mind is chaotic, even peaceful moments feel heavy and stressful. Many people spend years chasing external victories, hoping that achievements, recognition, or approval will finally quiet their thoughts. Yet the mind keeps searching for something else to worry about. This is why mastering the mind is far more powerful than mastering circumstances. Imagine a quiet monastery standing in the middle of a mountain valley. Outside, a powerful storm is raging. Wind moves through the trees, rain strikes the rooftops, and thunder echoes across the mountains. Yet inside the monastery, a monk sits calmly in meditation. The storm continues, but it does not disturb his inner stillness. The storm exists outside, but it does not enter the mind. This is the strength of inner mastery. Life will always bring storms. There will be criticism, uncertainty, disappointment, and moments when things do not go your way. These storms are part of human life. But when you learn to guard your mind, these external events lose their power to disturb your peace. Instead of reacting to everything around you, you begin to observe, breathe, and respond with clarity. This is the beginning of real freedom. When the mind becomes steady, the world loses its ability to shake your inner balance. So pause for a moment and ask yourself something honestly. What emotions currently control your reactions, and how would your life change if you learn to master them instead of being ruled by them? Lesson 2. Release the habit of comparison. There is a quiet habit that steals peace from millions of people every single day, and most do not even notice it happening. It is the habit of comparison. Modern life constantly pushes people to measure themselves against others. People compare their success, their appearance, their relationships, and even their happiness. With endless information and social media surrounding us, it has become almost automatic to look at someone else's life and silently ask whether we are ahead or behind. But this constant comparison slowly drains the mind. When you compare yourself to someone who appears more successful, it creates feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. When you compare yourself to someone who seems to be struggling, it may create a temporary sense of superiority, but that feeling never brings true peace either. In both cases, the mind becomes trapped in measuring rather than living. Instead of focusing on your own path, your attention becomes scattered across the lives of others. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that every life unfolds at its own rhythm. No two journeys move at the same pace. Some people experience growth early, while others discover their purpose later in life. Some paths are quiet and steady, while others are filled with sudden changes. Trying to compare these different journeys is like comparing two completely different landscapes. Imagine a tall mountain standing beside a peaceful valley. The mountain rises high and powerful, touching the sky. The valley remains low, calm, and fertile, nourishing rivers and forests. Neither one is better than the other. Both exist for their own purpose. The mountain does not compete with the valley, and the valley does not wish to become the mountain. Each simply fulfills its own role in the landscape. Your life works in the same way. When you measure your journey against someone else's timeline, your own path begins to lose its meaning. You stop appreciating your progress because your attention is always directed somewhere else. So pause for a moment and reflect honestly. Whose life are you secretly comparing yourself to right now, and how much of your peace is being quietly taken away by that comparison? Lesson 3. Fall in love with the process. Many people live with a quiet belief that happiness is waiting somewhere in the future. They tell themselves that peace will arrive after they reach a certain goal, earn more success, or finally achieve the life they imagine. Until that moment arrives, they keep pushing forward, constantly chasing the next milestone. But there is a hidden problem in this way of living. The finish line keeps moving. As soon as one goal is reached, another appears, and the mind once again postpones peace for another distant moment. This is how many people spend years rushing through their lives. They wake up thinking about what still needs to be done, what still needs to be achieved, and what still feels incomplete. Even when progress is made, the mind rarely pauses to feel satisfied. Instead, it immediately shifts its focus to the next destination. Slowly, life begins to feel like an endless race where arrival always seems just a little further away. Buddhist wisdom offers a different perspective. It teaches that life does not truly unfold in the future, it unfolds in the present moment. The only place where peace, growth, and clarity can exist is in the step you are taking right now. When attention constantly lives in the future, the present moment quietly disappears, and with it disappears the very life you are trying to improve. Imagine a river flowing gently through mountains and forests on its way to the ocean. The river does not rush or struggle to reach its destination. It simply moves forward, honoring every curve, every stone, and every turn along its path. Because of this natural flow, the river eventually reaches the ocean without forcing anything. The journey itself becomes part of its purpose. Your life works in a similar way. When you become obsessed with outcomes, every step feels heavy with pressure. But when you learn to focus on the process itself, something begins to shift. Effort becomes more peaceful. Discipline becomes more natural. Progress happens quietly, without constant stress or urgency. Success then stops feeling like something you must chase. Instead, it becomes something that grows naturally from your consistent actions and presence. The work you do today, the habits you practice, and the attention you give to each moment slowly shape the results you will experience in the future. So pause for a moment and reflect on your own life. Where are you rushing toward a destination so quickly that you forget to experience the journey itself? And what might change if you allowed yourself to fully live the process instead of constantly chasing the finish line? Lesson 4. Choose yourself without guilt. Many people spend their lives giving their time, energy, and attention to everyone around them. They try to meet expectations, solve problems, and keep others happy. At first, this may seem like kindness or responsibility, but slowly, something begins to happen. In the effort to take care of everyone else, they forget to take care of themselves. Their own needs become the last priority. Their emotions are pushed aside, their rest is ignored, and their inner voice becomes quieter and quieter. Over time, this creates a deep form of emotional exhaustion. The body may still move through daily routines, but the mind feels drained and the heart feels heavy. When a person constantly gives without restoring their own energy, even simple responsibilities start to feel overwhelming. The truth is that no one can pour endlessly from an empty cup. When your inner balance disappears, even your kindness begins to feel like a burden. Many people fear that focusing on themselves is selfish. They worry that if they slow down, rest, or set boundaries, they will disappoint others. But Buddhist wisdom teaches something very different. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. Self-respect is the foundation of a peaceful and stable mind. When you ignore your own well-being, you slowly weaken the very source of your strength. Imagine a lamp that is meant to bring light to a room. If the lamp is never cleaned, never maintained, and never protected from dust, its light gradually becomes dim. Not because the lamp lacks power, but because it has been neglected. In the same way, when you constantly ignore your own needs, your inner clarity and energy begin to fade. Compassion does not begin by sacrificing yourself completely. True compassion begins with balance. When your mind is calm and your energy is restored, you are able to help others with sincerity instead of exhaustion. Your actions become clearer, your patience becomes deeper, and your presence becomes more supportive. Choosing yourself does not mean rejecting others. It means honoring your own well-being so that your energy can remain strong and steady. When you give yourself time to rest, reflect, and reconnect with your inner world, something powerful begins to happen. Your mind becomes clearer, your decisions become more focused. Your energy stops scattering in every direction and begins moving toward what truly matters in your life. This is where quiet strength begins to grow. You stop living only to meet expectations and begin living with awareness of your own needs and values. From this place of balance, your relationships also become healthier because they are no longer built on exhaustion or silent resentment. So pause for a moment and look honestly at your own life. In how many ways have you been abandoning your own needs while trying to keep everything else in balance? And what might begin to change if you finally allowed yourself the same care and attention that you so easily give to others? Lesson 5. Stop seeking approval. One of the quietest traps in human life is the desire for approval. Many people spend years shaping their actions, decisions, and even their identity based on how others might react. Without realizing it, life slowly turns into a performance. Words are carefully chosen, choices are adjusted, and dreams are sometimes changed, all in the hope of receiving praise or avoiding criticism. At first, this may seem normal, because human beings naturally want to feel accepted. But when the need for approval becomes too strong, it quietly takes control of the mind. When a person constantly seeks validation, their sense of self begins to depend on the reactions of others. Praise brings temporary happiness, but criticism can suddenly shake confidence. A compliment may lift the mood for a moment, while a negative comment may linger in the mind for hours or even days. Slowly, the mind becomes tied to the opinions of others. Instead of acting from personal values or inner clarity, actions are shaped by the desire to be liked, admired, or accepted. This creates invisible chains around the mind. A person may appear free on the outside, but internally, they are constantly checking how others might judge their choices. Should I say this or stay silent? Should I pursue this dream or choose something safer? Should I express my true thoughts or adjust them to fit expectations? The mind becomes busy trying to manage impressions rather than living honestly. Buddhist wisdom teaches that true freedom begins when actions arise from inner truth rather than external approval. When you act according to what feels deeply right within you, something powerful begins to shift. The need to constantly impress others starts to fade. Instead of performing for an audience, you begin living with a quiet sense of authenticity. This does not mean ignoring feedback or refusing to learn from others. Wisdom often grows through listening and reflection, but there is a difference between learning from others and depending on their approval to feel worthy. When your sense of value comes from within, praise and criticism lose their ability to control your emotions. Something interesting happens when a person stops chasing approval. Confidence becomes quieter, but far more stable. It no longer depends on applause or recognition. Instead, it comes from the simple understanding that you are acting in alignment with your own values and truth. This kind of confidence does not need to prove itself to anyone. It simply exists as a steady presence. Life also begins to feel lighter. Decisions become clearer because they are no longer filtered through the fear of judgment. Creativity grows because the mind is not constantly worried about how others will react. Even relationships become healthier because they are built on honesty rather than performance. Take a moment now to reflect on your own life. Imagine living for a single day without worrying about anyone's approval, without trying to impress, and without adjusting your actions to satisfy expectations. What choices would you make differently, and what part of your true self might finally begin to appear if no one were watching? Lesson 6. Embrace sacred solitude. Many people fear being alone. The moment silence appears, they quickly reach for distraction. A phone, a conversation, a video, or endless scrolling becomes a way to fill the quiet space. On the surface, this may feel harmless, but often the real reason people avoid solitude is much deeper. When the noise disappears, thoughts begin to surface. Unfinished emotions appear. Questions about life, purpose, and direction begin to rise into awareness. For many people, facing these inner experiences feels uncomfortable, so they keep themselves constantly occupied. Distraction has become one of the most common habits of modern life. It hides emotional pain, uncertainty, and unresolved feelings beneath layers of activity and stimulation. As long as the mind is busy, these deeper experiences remain hidden. But hiding them does not make them disappear. They remain quietly present beneath the surface, influencing moods, decisions, and reactions in ways people often do not understand. Buddhist wisdom teaches that solitude is not something to fear. In fact, it is one of the most powerful environments for self-understanding. When a person sits quietly with their own thoughts, something important begins to happen. The mind gradually slows down. The constant noise of daily life begins to fade, and deeper awareness begins to appear. In this quiet space, you start to see your emotions more clearly, understand your patterns, and recognize what truly matters to you. Think of a seed growing beneath the soil. For a long time, nothing appears on the surface. From the outside, it may look like nothing is happening. But beneath the ground, the seed is quietly developing roots and preparing for growth. Only after this unseen process is complete does the plant finally break through the soil and grow toward the light. Your inner growth follows a similar process. Solitude provides the space where these invisible roots can develop. When you allow yourself time away from constant noise and distraction, your mind begins to heal and reorganize itself. Insights appear that would never surface in a crowded or distracted environment. At first, sitting alone with your thoughts may feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable. But gradually, something beautiful begins to happen. The feeling of loneliness slowly transforms into a sense of calm companionship with yourself. You begin to realize that your own presence is not something to escape from, but something to understand and appreciate. In this space of quiet awareness, creativity becomes clearer. Emotions become easier to understand, and decisions become more thoughtful. Instead of running away from yourself, you begin to develop a deeper relationship with your own mind. Take a moment to reflect on this honestly. When was the last time you sat quietly with your own thoughts without distraction? And what might you discover if you allowed yourself that silence more often? Lesson 7. Train your attention. In many ways, your life is shaped by one simple but powerful force: your attention. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows, and wherever your energy flows, your life slowly begins to form. Yet in modern life, attention has become one of the most scattered resources of the human mind. Every day, people are pulled in dozens of directions. Notifications appear, conversations interrupt, thoughts wander, and endless information competes for a small space inside the mind. Without realizing it, attention becomes fragmented, moving constantly from one thing to another without ever settling deeply. This constant distraction quietly weakens discipline and clarity. When attention jumps rapidly between tasks, thoughts, and emotions, the mind loses its sense of direction. People begin many things but struggle to complete them. Goals become unclear, motivation fades quickly, and even simple tasks start to feel overwhelming. It is not because people lack intelligence or ability. Often the real problem is that their attention has been scattered across too many places. Buddhist teachings place great importance on training the mind to return to a single point of awareness. One of the simplest and most powerful practices is returning attention to the breath. The breath is always present, always steady, and always available as an anchor for the mind. When thoughts wander, you gently bring your awareness back to the breath. When emotions arise, you notice them and again return to the breath. This simple act may seem small, but it gradually strengthens the mind's ability to focus. At first, the mind may wander constantly. Thoughts about the past appear, worries about the future arise, and distractions seem endless. But the practice is not about forcing the mind to become perfectly still. The real training lies in the return. Each time attention drifts and you gently guide it back, you strengthen the mind's ability to stay present. Over time, this repeated return builds mental stability and awareness. As attention becomes stronger, something important begins to change. The mind becomes clearer and less reactive. Decisions feel more intentional rather than impulsive. Work becomes deeper and more meaningful because you are fully present with what you are doing. Instead of feeling pulled in every direction, you begin to guide your own focus. This is why Buddhist wisdom teaches that attention shapes destiny. The thoughts you repeatedly focus on become beliefs. The actions you repeatedly focus on become habits. And the habits you repeatedly focus on slowly shape the direction of your life. A scattered mind often leads to scattered results, while a focused mind creates steady progress. When you begin to train your attention, you reclaim control over your mental energy. Instead of allowing the world to constantly pull your mind away, you learn to decide where your awareness belongs. This simple shift can transform how you experience work, relationships, and personal growth. So pause for a moment and ask yourself something honestly. In the middle of all the distractions surrounding you, what truly deserves your deepest focus right now? And what kind of life might begin to form if you protected your attention and gave it fully to what truly matters. As you begin to release the constant need for approval, comparison, and validation, something powerful slowly starts to happen inside you. The mind that was once busy measuring itself against others begins to quiet down. The endless noise of expectations fades, and a new sense of clarity begins to appear. Decisions that once felt confusing start to feel simpler, because they are no longer driven by the pressure to impress or compete. Instead, they begin to arise from a deeper understanding of what truly matters in your own life. When your attention returns to yourself, your energy also returns with it. The energy that was once scattered across other people's opinions, timelines, and judgments slowly gathers back into your own center. You begin to notice a different rhythm in the way you move through life. Your thoughts become calmer, your actions become more intentional, and your path begins to feel more personal and meaningful. Zen wisdom offers a quiet reminder about peace. Peace does not suddenly appear when the world becomes silent or when every problem disappears. The world will always remain unpredictable, filled with noise, opinions, and endless change. True peace begins when the mind no longer demands that the world be different in order to feel calm. When the mind releases that demand, a deep sense of stillness becomes possible, even in the middle of a busy and uncertain world. This is the quiet transformation that begins when you learn to focus on yourself. Not in a selfish way, but in a conscious and grounded way. You begin to understand your thoughts more clearly, protect your attention more carefully, and live with a deeper sense of purpose. So pause for a moment and ask yourself something honestly. What kind of life becomes possible when you finally stop measuring your journey against everyone else and start walking your own path with patience and awareness? The moment you stop searching outward for constant answers, something profound begins to unfold. The journey inward begins. And in that journey, you may discover that the peace you were searching for has been quietly waiting within you all along. Take a moment to reflect on these ideas and notice what resonates with your own experience. If this message connected with you in some way, share your thoughts in the comments and let others know what focusing on yourself means in your life. And if you wish to continue exploring timeless wisdom that helps bring clarity, balance, and inner peace, stay connected for more reflections inspired by Buddhist philosophy.